Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Lesson 4.2, Adding Integers. I'd like to thank you for watching Lesson 4.1 and the patience you had as I am learning how to do all of this. I promise as time goes, I will become more fluent with it, as well as learning new things, such as I will be condensing the videos into 2 to 3 sections. I will be breaking them off by the examples, so I will take the logical point in the examples and either break it into 3 places or 2, depending on the lesson, so that it is a quicker load for you and that you're sitting in front of the video a little less time. Do make sure that you watch both part 1, 2, and if there are 3 parts, all 3 parts. Okay, so make sure you have your notes, and you want to make sure you titled the notes Lesson 4.2, Adding Integers. We're still talking about rational numbers, and hopefully you remember a rational number is something that can be written as a ratio.
Two rounds remain in a friendly video game of Zombie Pretzel Attack 2. Each zombie pretzel cheesed scores 100 points. Each player cheeses 3 zombie pretzels. Write each player's new score. Tell how you found each score.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you're going to pull out your companion page or turn to it, and you're going to do the mathematical calculations to determine the new score for each one of the zombie pretzels. And as you look at those scores and you calculate them, please think about the reflection question, and that's, did the player's scores change from a negative to a positive? And if so, explain why does this happen? Go ahead and pause the video at this time to answer. Okay, thank you for coming back. You've noticed I have pulled up the solutions for the Adding Integers launch, and hopefully you're comparing the numbers and you have the same numbers. Player 1's new score was 500 points, Player 2's new score was negative 100 points, and Player 3 is now 100 points. So as you look at that, compare your answer to theirs. How did you calculate? And then, did we in fact have a player that went from negative to positive? We sure did. Player number 3 went from a negative 200 points to 100 points. And we can see that they're talking here about how at negative 200, when they added each 100, that they eventually became to 0, and they still had 100 points to add, which then became a positive number. Your wording may not say the same exact as theirs, but if you're understanding what they're saying and it makes sense as to what you were said and they align, then that's a great thing. If not, we have to think about it and double check to see how else you could restate that. You could even draw pictures. A number line might be a tool that is very useful for such. Okay, so let's go ahead and go see our focus question of the day.
You know how to add positive numbers. In the launch, you thought about how to combine positive and negative numbers that represent points in a game. What does it mean to add less than nothing to something?
Okay, so what does it mean to add less than nothing to something? Well, first, nothing would be 0. Add less than nothing, so it has to be less than 0 to something, which sounds like they're implying is more than 0. So let's see where this is going to take us. We're going to be coming into some key concepts. So make sure that you're ready for taking your notes, because there's plenty of opportunity to take some useful notes that will be very beneficial for you as we progress through these lessons.
You can use a number line model to compare adding positive and negative numbers to 3. Imagine that you are walking along the number line, facing the positive direction.
Okay, so you're at 0 and you're walking in a positive direction to 3. Over here it says this is 3 plus n, and then they give us 2 scenarios, when n equals 5 and when n equals negative 5. We're looking at 3 plus 5 first, where n equals 5.
Move in the positive direction if n is positive.
So n's positive, and we moved in the positive direction of 5 because n equals 5. That gives us a 3 plus 5 equals 8. Nothing too new here to you, correct? You add 3 to 5 and you get 8. Nothing new at all. Let's check this one.
Move in the negative direction if n is negative.
Okay, so we are at 3, and then we need to go to the left because negative indicates that we're moving to the left. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if 3 plus a negative 5 is going to give me a negative 2. And that is where I found myself stopping on that number line when I went for the walk. Okay, now this one, distance from 3. What we're looking at is if we take the absolute value of -5 and the absolute value of 5, we find that we're 5 away from each time. This time instead of 0 though, we're looking at 3, so we're looking at a relative position. So if I took -5, I became a -2. When I added a +5, it became an 8. But either way, -2 is 5 units from 3, and 8 is 5 units from 3. The -5 just tells me the direction, just as well as the +5 tells me a direction as well. Pause at this moment if you had any questions, or rewind at any time. That's one of the benefits of having this at your convenience at home, is you can watch it multiple times and try to clarify any misconceptions or confusing pieces, and also to write down notes that you can come to class and ask very specific questions on, I need more assistance with, and then you can tell me. And I'll be glad to help you. And we're trying to see if part 1 will come up. Okay, before we begin, I'm going to interrupt this video multiple times. 1, make sure you're still breathing and awake and alive. But 2, to clarify a few things, I'll put it into basic English. Some of the things he says, he's so dry that it can be a little boring and maybe a little confusing. So pardon me as I interrupt this gentleman as he shares how to use this tool that you'll find as you do your math homework. Many of you have found the calculator. There are many other tools, and this is just one tool that you can find under your math tools.
In this video, you will learn about the add and subtract integers mode of the number line tool. You can use the add and subtract integers mode to model addition and subtraction problems on the number line. To model the first value, drag the blue point along its guiding number line to the value you want. Notice that the numerical value you are modeling is displayed on the blue strip as well as in the expression display below. When the blue point is in place, press the Set Value button. Select the operation that you want to model. Then model the second value by dragging the red point along its guiding number line to the value you want.
Okay, I'm going to pause him right there. So as you notice, you started at 0, and we had a 4. So we dragged the blue dot until we saw a 4 up here. We didn't really need to pay attention down here. It happens to be we started at 0, so we're going to be at 4 when we get here. So you see 4 here. Then we saw we were adding, because that's the expression we were given. So I'm going to continue to the right, because addition sign or a plus sign means continuing towards the right or going to the right, and I'm going to go 5 units. So I'm looking here for 5. So I now have 4 plus 5. I'm going to hit the set value, and I'm going to get multiple options, but in this case we're going to end up selecting the equal signs. And I know this will be no surprise to you as to the answer is 9, which when he does so, you'll notice this black dot is your final answer, and it will be 9. So let's watch.
The numerical value you are modeling is displayed on the red strip, and the expression displayed below shows the expression that you are building. When the red point is in place, press the Set Value button. After setting 2 values, you have a choice of including a third value to your model by selecting Add or Subtract. Or you can model the answer for your current 2 values by selecting Equals. Selecting Equals will reveal the answer to the expression in the expression display. Notice that the black point is located at the value of the answer on the main number line.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, might be a little biased here, but I think I have a little more life to my voice, so hopefully between the two of us, you got to get that. If not, again, rewind, rewatch as many times as you need. That is the benefit of to the flipped classroom, is that you can watch and gather the information at your own rate. Okay, so the second part. Okay, we were going to have to forgive the technology. I'm a little bit limited. I'm not able to write in all the boxes, but I am able to use this tool, and I want you to watch how I'm using it, and hopefully it'll start to make sense.
Find the sum 2 plus -8. Then complete the statement.
Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I have 2. My equation, oh sorry, expression, there's no equal sign yet. My expression is 2. So I need to take my blue line and I need to move it until I see a blue 2. When I have a blue 2, I know that I'm good. And then I say, okay, I'm adding. So I'm going to hit set value so that it locks in my blue, my blue 2, it kind of rhymes, it does rhyme, add, and then I see that I'm going to be adding a -8. Negative sign just tells me I'm heading to the left. So I'm going to drag this until I see a red -8, and I see that I'm at the -8. Now I'm going to hit my set value. And there were no other operations. It doesn't have another adding or subtracting, so at this point I'm going to place an equal sign. Now before I continue too much further, 2 plus a -8 is going to be a -6. How many units though from 2 is that? -6 is 8 units from 2 in the left direction. Negative sign is just left, and a positive sign just tells me I'm going to the right. Just let those be directional guides like left and right hand turns. And let's see, our final answer is in black, and it is -6. So when I have 2 and I add a -8, it's the same as having a -6. So I was at this store and I really wanted this toy and this new record, or I know what's a record, -8. So let that represent how much money that's going to cost. It's going to be $8, and I begged my mom, Mom, please, 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 let me buy this and I will pay you back. Well, as soon as I got home, I had $2 in my savings, my little piggy bank, so I gave her my $2. I borrowed 8, and I paid back 2. How much do I still owe my mom? I owe her $6. I owe her a -6. Often I find if I can convert some of my problems into a money issue, a math shopping kind of aspect, that I can do well with that. So feel free to try the same thing. Okay, so let's listen to this.
-5 plus -6 is how many units from -5? In what direction? What is -5 plus -6?
Okay, so -5 plus -6 is 6 units from -5 in the, it's a negative sign, is that left or right? That's right, it's a left direction. So when I have -5 plus a -6, I should get a -11. Let's show you the solution so you can see the math of it. I'm at -5. I want to move 6 spaces to the left. That puts me at a -11. I moved to the left because it was a -6. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of part 1 of lesson 4.2. I will be having another part 2 for lesson 4.2, so make sure you do catch that second piece of the lesson. Thank you.